Oh, look, Pop.
Oh, y'all are pretty good.
Handsome? All right.
Oh, of course, yes. Handsomest man I know.
I prefer to be handsome in video.
You're a handsome man.
I don't care about good or talented.
Just handsome.
Just handsome. Making lemonade. Good afternoon. I'm Landon with Merman and Press. Today, I'll be interviewing my grandfather. This is Poppo John, as he will be lovably known forever. I have my cameraman, Pops. Say hi, Pops.
Hi, Pops.
And we are on our annual hunting trip. We come out to the middle of nowhere and drink and shoot guns into the woods and, hope we don't kill nothing. We don't want to get too busy. This is the boys' trip, okay? It's me, all his sons, and it's a wonderful time. We've been doing this for forever. And when I was a kid, I looked forward to coming on this trip with y'all so much. So
35 plus years.
35 plus years, good Lord. So we're pretty much masters of the craft at this point. What did we have for breakfast this morning? Fancy hash browns and andouille sausage.
Yes.
And a little bit of salsa.
Oh,
So
it's great.
Mm-hmm. So, Pawpaw, I don't know if you've watched any of my channel, but what we talk about on here is mainly just people strapping themselves up by their bootstraps and taking their own self-defense at heart. People need to be accountable.
Exactly.
They can. 911 isn't coming.
Well,
right?
They're too late when
They're too late when they get there, right? So having some skills and some mindset and things that you and me talk about often, because you've kind of been. How long have you been concealed carrying for?
Approximately 25 years.
Right. So it's old hack, but you understand the mindset behind it.
I do.
Right. So I got my questions. Forgive me for reading them because my memory is awful. But so what year and when were you born?
June the 1st, 1944, in Carlisle, Kentucky.
Carlisle, Kentucky. What is that near?
It's probably 35 miles east of Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay. So when you were growing up, I know you started work early in life.
Yes, I did.
What was your first job? Like what was the first thing you were really responsible for?
Doing chores on the farm, and this started, I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, we had to get in the firewood or the coal, whatever we needed to heat the house. We also had to milk cows every morning, and chores day and night, every single day. The only day we got to rest was Sunday.
Yep. When did you get, y'all didn't have a phone in the house.
No.
When did you get a phone?
1956 or 57, we got our first phone.
Who's the first person y'all called with it?
Probably one of my aunts in Indianapolis, and we'd step back and yell at the phone like we was hollering to Indiana.
I didn't even think about that. That's pretty funny.
Well, that's the way it was.
Yeah. So what? Did you finish school, and what was school like for you?
I did not finish school. I went all through grade school and went 3 years in high school, and I really wasted my time. I thought what was important to me was getting the work done at home and doing the things I need to do at home. And my dad kind of looked at it that way too. And I didn't realize how important an education was really till I got in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And they put the pressure on me and made me get my GED, which paid off. And I later went on and got a job in a factory. And at 21 years old, and got my further education from there. I'm educated as being a machinist as well as an electrician, and I went to school for both of those. And
I didn't know you got your GED in the Navy.
I did. They forced it on me,
That's cool though.
which I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you did. I'd be thankful for that at least.
Yeah,
Now looking back.
yeah.
But so from your childhood, let's say 16 to 0, what's the happiest memory you can think of on the spot when you were a kid?
Hunting,
Hunting?
and
What was
fishing.
your favorite thing to hunt?
Well, at that time, it was rabbits and squirrels and groundhogs.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
We put a lot of meat on the table with a single-shot .22 rifle,
Yeah.
and well, that's some of my fondest memories is being out doing the soldier crawling across the pasture to get close enough to get a shot at the groundhog with a .22 single-shot rifle.
That's awesome. So you said you joined the Navy. What year did you join the Navy?
1962.
And what was your job?
Well, I ended up being a driver
Mm-hmm.
and equipment operator was my main function. Of course, you had to stand all these watches, you know. When
Yeah.
you was on duty, you had to stand fire watch and duty driver and all this other stuff.
So how did it come around you telling your family and friends you were going to join the military? Was it just something you came home and told them, or what?
No, well, I kind of let my dad know that I wanted to join, but in those days, it was early Vietnam War time. If you didn't join, you were drafted, and when you was drafted, you went in the service that they told you to go in.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to have a choice. So I heard something about the Navy Seabees, and I went to Lexington, Kentucky, and joined there into the Navy Seabees.
So you walk into the office, how long was it before you shipped out?
Probably a year.
Really?
Yeah,
They had like a
probably.
delayed entry
Yes.
type? Okay. That's pretty
Well,
much what
I
I
had
did.
to go through some other stuff first,
Mm.
but it was approximately a year before I went to active duty.
Okay. What was kind of your main drive behind joining the military? Was it getting out of town? Was it pride? What was it?
Well, I knew I had to serve my country in one way or another, and I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get that behind me so I could get on with the rest of my life.
Yeah. So for you, it was inevitable. You knew one way or another you were gonna.
One way or another, I was going to go.
Yeah, by hook or by crook, right?
Exactly.
Is there anybody you served with that you remember fondly? I talk about my friends all the time. Some of the best friends I ever made.
I do. There was two guys in Rhode Island, and they were from Boston area. I was stationed up there in Davisville, Rhode Island for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I met these two guys, Thomas E. Field and Frank Bognano. He was Italian. And like on some weekends, they would take me home with them in the Boston area, and I would, they'd take me out sightseeing and introduce me to their families, and I would go to their family's house and eat and have good meals and conversations. And they just took to me, and they took care of me while I was up there.
Those are some of the best friends to have. The guys that have family that lives real close to base.
Exactly.
That was always a good Thanksgiving. If you could see them, what would you tell them right now?
That I've missed them.
Mm-hmm. And you'd love to catch up with them?
Yes, I would.
When's the last time you talked to them? When you were in?
The company I worked for, which was Rockwell International at the time, had sent me to school in a little place close to Boston. I was studying about instrumentation for heat treat furnaces. I had to get special training on that, and I was able to talk to both of those guys on the phone while I was there. I didn't get to see them, but I got to talk to them.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
That is nice. Yeah, I like reconnecting with my buddies. Some of them I don't get to so often. Some of them I do all the time.
Yeah.
But so what year did you get out of the Navy?
March 1965,
What was your last duty station?
Keflavik, Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've talked to me about Iceland before. That sounds like
Yeah.
a wild place. So what were your first few months out of the military like?
Well, it was a little bit confusing. I was trying to get back to civilian life, and the recruiters that wanted me to re-up in the Navy were telling me I was going to starve to death.
Oh, of course.
And that was a bad day when they tried to get me to re-enlist. The recruiter was mad at me, and I was mad at him.
Mm.
And the picture they took to put on my new ID card was not very flattering because I was pissed off. And but anyway, that's the way it was. He was mad at me, and I was mad at him. And I was going to make it hook or crook. I had a little gal waiting for me back in Kentucky, and I couldn't wait to get to her.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it was.
Did your time in the military, how did it affect you the most? Your time in, did what stands out to you?
It changed my mindset from a teenager to being a man.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately when I got home out of the Navy, my dad started treating me like a man. And not like a teenager like he did before I went in the Navy. He was seemed like a different man to me, but really he was, and I'm the one that changed.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was strict on me and my brother, but and I resented that until I got in the Navy. But after I got out of the Navy and got home, I realized he was right all along. 100%.
A lot of parallels between you and my story on this. So one thing now in the military, they even teach classes now while you're in about transitioning out, right? Trying to become part of society again, where at least people will talk to you, not just like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got any advice for? Let's say not even a young man. Let's say somebody who's about to retire, right? Because you've retired,
Yes.
and you understand what it's like to kind of smooth everything out for life. What's some advice you'd give to somebody transitioning out of the military?
Oh my goodness. Just go into it with an open mind.
Yep.
And try to be the best that you can be at whatever you decide you're going to do.
Yep.
Give it everything you got, and I did that for my family and for myself.
Is there anything you wish normal everyday civilians understood about people in the military?
I wish some of them would understand that these folks are serving their country, and they have to put up with a lot of crap while they're in there. And especially through the training period, you're treated like a dog. But if you keep an open mind, you know it's for your own good. And what helps you transition into being a man. It worked with me.
What I wish people understood is that people go into the military typically a broken person. You don't know what's going on. You don't understand life,
Exactly.
and you haven't made many grown-up decisions yet. You might like me. I joined a little late in life. I was a couple years behind the curve, so I paid my taxes once or twice. That does not mean I had my poop in a group.
Yeah.
And I wish people understood that when they talk to someone who's recently out of the service, they're talking to a person who might have just put their life together and do not need the boat rocked by nonsense.
Exactly.
They might have finally started being treated like a man while they were in, and they do not need to be talked to like they don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's important because people in the military now, when they get out, they're treated differently. Some of them get treated like a damn time bomb.
Yep.
Other ones get treated like they're just stupid, and they're not. Most of them are not. Most of them are. I dealt with all kinds of people,
Yep.
and understanding that some of these people are still figuring something out, but they have a different mind behind the controls now. They do not have that same boy mentality. They are now a man, but they're still figuring something out.
Yeah.
And get a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
So, I don't care if you want to talk about financial wise, happiness wise, transition wise. What is your best year and why? What year stands out to you in life as the best year of your life?
I guess when I started having children
Mm-hmm.
and trying to work and support them and your wife and to have a good, peaceful home. And I don't know, the work and the family just all seem to kind of work and fit together. And that's about all I can say about that right now.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough question. It's a like some people's best year is the year they're first born, or they started a new business, or
Well,
it's always interesting to see.
When your first child comes along, it's a happy time and it's a changing time.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you kind of change inside.
Yeah.
You feel even more responsible for your family.
Out of your entire life, you've had a lot of jobs. What is your favorite job you've ever had that you could? I don't care if let's say the money was worth it. Whatever job it was, what would you go back to?
What I done for 52 years.
Mm-hmm. What was that?
I was a maintenance electrician.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in a factory. I liked my job and I gave it everything I had.
Mm-hmm. You liked the problem-solving aspect,
Exactly.
I'm sure.
There's a lot of problems you had to solve on your own.
Mm, yeah.
Because there's nobody else there to do it for you.
Nobody you could call.
That's right.
I talk about you being the greatest hobby master I've ever been around in my life. When you grab a hobby, you don't just learn it like I do. I learn the ins and outs, but I don't become a master. You master it, and then you go put it aside and go master something else. If there was a hobby you could get into right now, future, past, I don't care. What is your favorite hobby, and what would you get back into?
Right now, what comes to mind, my favorite hobby is right now at this time of year and what we're doing right now in this place.
All right.
With my family.
I agree with that. I like that.
It's I look forward to this every year.
You and me both.
And just being out in the woods with my boys.
I get it. Yeah, the years I didn't get to come when I was in the military, it hurt. It hurt. I really wanted to be here.
Well, it
so
hurt
bad.
us too.
So kind of winding down, and I'm going to ask you a somewhat serious question. Answer it as serious as you want, and then we'll ask a couple jesting questions,
okay.
and then we can just talk. But so when I joined service, what did you think about it? What was on your mind? Were you worried at all? What was your thoughts when I told everybody?
I was glad to see you do it because I'm pro-military.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pro-law enforcement. And I was worried about you getting out in the world without me being there to, you might say, protect you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I went so far as when you started traveling, I put a world map up on the wall in my basement so I could keep up with you. And I tried to ask you, Mom and Dad questions about where you was at, what you was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping you didn't get sent into a war zone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I don't know what to add to that. But,
Yeah. That's a selfish question for me.
Well, I felt that way about all my boys,
Mm-hmm.
including that one sitting right there.
So, what tobacco you smoke in your pipe most often?
Prince Albert.
Prince Albert. Yep. I remember first time first time you and me ever really shot, you got that 410 22 rifle that you had, that breakdown,
I still got
that
it.
trap gun, and we shot at a Prince Albert can, and I remember you got a headshot on Prince Albert on that can. I was so impressed. I was like, dang, that was awesome. But you had a big pile of empty Prince Albert cans. That was so great. What is your favorite firearm of all time that you've owned?
Probably a 22 250 varmint rifle
Mm-hmm.
because they're so fast and so accurate and will shoot so far.
That's one of the first guns you and me shot at the gun club down
It
there.
was.
That's an awesome gun.
It is. It's
That's a cool round.
it's a long range varmint rifle. Is what it is, and it's fast as lightning.
So what? So I'm gonna reverse the interview now. What's
Okay.
something you want to know from me?
What are your future plans for your life, family, and
Well, I want to keep working, and I want kids, man. I want a family. I want that whole life, and as much as I say my life is chaos, some of it's true. But it works out how it is to me, and I can be patient for a long time, but I'm getting older.
well, Landon, I believe I worry more about you now than I did when you was in the military
Mhm.
because of some of the things I hear on the news and the people I see around town, the dope heads, the crack heads, society's not like it was when I was a teenager. It has changed 180 degrees.
Mhm.
You don't know who you can trust and who you cannot trust,
Mhm.
other than family.
Right.
And I'm very glad that our family is as tight as it is.
You and me both. We're very lucky.
Your grandma and I feel very fortunate that we have the family we have.
Well, we've worked pretty hard to get it this way, haven't we?
Yes.
We really have. We were talking about this around the fire last night. We're so blessed. Our family,
We are.
we're not a big family that snipes at each other and constantly has some battle going on in the back. We don't have to politic our way through Thanksgiving.
Well, because you and I, or me and Chris, disagree about anything, we don't get mad at each other about
No.
it. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their right to their opinions on anything.
Right.
But seems like the whole family has good common sense, and we just get along together and we're tight, and that's good.
I think that's awesome. Got anything to add, Pops? You got a question?
Well, this is my family, even though I married into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is my family. And it's a good family, and I'm proud of my father-in-law because of where he's been, what he's done. I'm proud of my son because of who he is and where he's been. Proud of myself for having these people around me who keep my head out of my ass. But again, we are just the common nucleus, salt of the earth people that when the shit hits the fan, we ain't going to change. Everybody else is going to change. And we're going to stick together. And at the end of the day, we're still going to love America.
Yeah.
But I love my family, and I love my son. I love my brother-in-laws. They're like brothers to me. So, no, again, this is a little deeper than we normally talk on these things.
You're right.
But I've enjoyed listening, even though I've heard these stories from John before. It's funny. It's different when I'm listening to him tell you than when he and I were just talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It's a different direction. John's coming at me. He's coming down to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's on the mountain. He's like Moses on the mountain, right? But me and him are talking when we're talking.
Yeah.
So, but no, Papa's awesome, and this was a good interview, and I've enjoyed sitting here trying to be quiet listening. I appreciate y'all letting me put my input in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys on the channel probably have something to say too. So
Oh yeah.
say what you got to say.
Oh, believe me, they love when other people come on. They get tired of looking at my face,
I'm
man.
sure.
But well, Poppo, I thank you for doing this with me.
Well, can I
It's
add one other,
Absolutely.
other little thing about Pops sitting over there? He's been just like a son to me, just like my other sons, and as well as his mother-in-law. We look at him like a son, and we treat him like a son.
Yes, y'all do.
And I'm mighty proud he's in our family, and he'll be there forever.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So,
As long as your daughter will put up with it.
yeah, I wanted to add that, and that's the way we feel.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of love around here.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been without it.
No. This is the love and
none
love.
of us have.
And it's okay, Marines, to say you love your family. Okay. I know your boy tells you that every time.
I mean, I'll
he
make
signs
fun of
off.
you anyway. So
Yeah, but I know your boy tells y'all that every time he signs off. But hug your family.
Yeah. So, well, thanks y'all for coming. I wanted to do this the whole trip, but it's been dang raining the whole time. I'm sure y'all have seen some water dripping around, but so think about what's killing you today. Hug your families.